All right, so today we're going to be diving deep into the world of DrayTek routers.
Okay.
And I know you've been comparing models, and you've been using this DrayTek router comparison v1.1.pdf chart to do that.
Right.
And you're serious about routers, I can tell.
You can tell, yeah.
So many options, though, right?
Yeah, there are.
It can be pretty overwhelming.
A lot of jargon.
Yeah, a lot of jargon and just a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But don't worry, that's why we're here. We're going to decode all this stuff together.
Exactly.
And by the end of this, you're going to know what really matters for you in a router.
Absolutely.
So looking at this chart, one of the first things I see is this NAT sessions column.
Yeah.
I see numbers ranging from the tens of thousands to like, is that 1 million?
Yeah, you can get pretty high up there.
What's the deal with NAT sessions?
Right. So
Why should we care?
I think of NAT sessions as like every device in your house that's doing something online.
Oh, okay.
So if you're streaming a movie, if you're sending an email, playing a game, whatever it is, you're using a NAT session.
Got it.
So the more devices you have going,
Right.
the more sessions you need.
So if I'm like constantly battling buffering while my kids are gaming and I'm trying to work,
Yeah.
maybe my router just can't handle all that.
Yeah, that's a good possibility.
Really?
Your router just doesn't have the capacity,
Wow.
the horsepower to handle all those sessions at once.
So that's what those big numbers on the higher end models mean.
Right.
Okay.
You know, you're looking at serious,
Yeah.
heavy-duty use cases,
Yeah.
you know, like a business or maybe
Yeah.
a house full of gamers or something like that.
Right.
But for most people, if you regularly have more than like 5 devices going at once, you want to prioritize a router that has over 50,000 NAT sessions.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Something to keep in mind.
So I'm starting to see how these specs relate to real-life situations.
Yes.
Now, another thing I see here is this VPN matcher. VPNs, on the other hand, they need to connect different locations.
Okay.
And for that, they typically require a public IP address, which is visible and accessible from anywhere on the internet.
So if you're using, a USB dongle for internet and your provider only gives you a private IP, it's like trying to invite someone over, but only giving them your apartment number, not the building address.
Yeah, exactly. They'll never find you.
They'll never find you.
Yeah, and that's precisely where VPN matcher comes in.
Okay, so this is our hero, VPN Matcher. Tell us more about how it works, this magic.
Yeah, so it really cleverly circumvents this private IP address problem by acting as a kind of middleman.
Okay.
It essentially matches the private IPs of the 2 routers that are trying to establish a VPN tunnel,
Okay.
allowing them to connect even without public IPs.
Gotcha.
So it's like having a special operator who knows the internal phone extensions of both offices and can connect your calls even though you can't directly dial each other.
This is where it gets really exciting for me.
And a lot of these DrayTek models do have VPN matcher,
That's good to know.
which is nice.
So moving on, something that I'm always interested in is better Wi-Fi coverage, like the kind that lets me like work in the garden without my connection dropping.
Yeah, I get it.
And I see this mesh network with Vigor app listed here. What's the magic behind that?
Mesh networks. The dream come true
Okay.
for Wi-Fi woes.
Yeah.
You're talking about blanketing your entire house with this
Wow.
beautiful, seamless Wi-Fi signal.
Hold on. Is this like those Wi-Fi extenders I see advertised?
What
What makes mesh networking different?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because those extenders sometimes can create more problems
Right.
than they solve. They kind of add to the network congestion.
Okay.
A mesh network with Vigor apps is different because it actually creates a single unified network.
Okay.
So all of these Vigor apps, they all work together,
Yeah.
seamlessly, intelligently routing your traffic
Right.
for the best possible performance.
So it's about more than just boosting the signal.
Yes.
It's about creating like a smarter network.
Exactly, yes, a smarter network overall.
Cool.
And with DrayTek, you can link up quite a few of these Vigor apps depending on the model.
Okay.
So if you have a large space or just really high demands, that's something to pay attention to.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about a real world problem I think a lot of people can relate to.
Okay.
Unreliable internet service.
Ugh. Yes.
I see here columns for 4G, LTE, 5G SIM card, and backup failover to 4Gethernet.
Right?
Is this the solution to those frustrating internet outages?
I think it could be, yeah.
Really?
And imagine this scenario. You're in the middle of an important video call
Yeah.
and your internet decides to just quit on you.
Ugh, it's the worst.
Right. But with a DrayTek router that has cellular backup, you just keep going.
Okay.
It seamlessly switches over to your mobile data.
Wow.
So you don't miss a beat.
So I just pop in a SIM card.
Yeah.
And the router knows to just kick in the mobile data when my main connection drops.
That's it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no more scrambling for your phone's hotspot.
Right, exactly.
Or anything like that.
Right.
And some models even let you fail over to a secondary Ethernet connection if you have that as an option. So it's all about options.
Options and peace of mind.
And peace of mind, exactly.
This is definitely making me rethink my router setup.
Good.
One last thing before we move on.
Okay.
I'm seeing USB 2.0, USB 3.0 ports listed for some models.
Yeah.
What's the deal with USB ports on a router?
Right.
Seems a little unusual.
It might seem unusual, but they're surprisingly versatile. So you can actually connect an external hard drive
to the router.
To the router.
Wow.
And create your own little network storage system.
Right.
That's accessible to all your devices.
So like no more emailing files back and forth.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Right. It's all right there, accessible from anywhere in the house.
Okay.
Plus, you can share printers across multiple devices.
Oh, wow.
And some models even let you use a USB modem for internet access.
Really?
So it's like a little mini server.
Wow.
Built into your router.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
NAT sessions, VPNs, mesh networks, even cellular backup.
It's a lot.
It's clear that these DrayTek routers have a ton of features.
They do.
But how do you know which one is right for you?
That is the question, isn't it?
It is.
And the answer is, like most things in life, it depends.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we'll figure out what it depends on.
Okay.
So let's look at some specific features and see how they might play into your decision.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So let's start with the WAN section.
Okay.
And see what kind of internet connection options we're working with here.
This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Exactly.
All right, WAN section, here we come.
So the WAN section is all about how your router connects to the wider internet.
Okay.
It's like choosing the right on-ramp to the information superhighway.
I like that analogy. Okay.
So let's take a look.
I'm looking at this WAN section, and I see things like VDSL235B and GBE.
Right.
I have a feeling they're not talking about breakfast cereals.
No, not breakfast cereal.
Can you decode these for me?
Yeah, so VDSL235B, that refers to a type of DSL technology, which uses your existing phone line to deliver internet.
Right.
It's a common option, but gigabit Ethernet, or GBE, that's the speed demon here.
Okay.
We're talking blazing fast speeds up to 1 gigabit per second.
Wow. So if I have a choice, GBE is the way to go.
Yeah, if you have the option for GBE, definitely go for it.
Especially if I'm doing things like downloading massive game updates.
Absolutely.
Or streaming 4K movies.
Yeah, anything that requires a lot of bandwidth.
Okay, good to know.
And a lot of the DrayTek routers offer multiple GBE ports.
Oh, okay.
So you can connect multiple devices at top speed.
Got it.
Now, there's also this interesting feature called WANLIN configurable port.
Yeah, what's that all about?
That sounds a little bit like a transformer for your router.
Is it like a secret backdoor into my network?
Not a secret backdoor, no.
Okay.
Think of it as like a flexible port that you can customize.
Oh.
You can designate it as a WAN port for connecting to the internet, or as a LAN port for connecting to devices on your internal network.
So for instance, if I wanted to set up a separate guest network for visitors, I could use that configurable port to keep them isolated from my main network.
Precisely, yeah, you got it.
That's cool. Okay.
It's all about flexibility and control.
I like it.
Now let's move on to the LAN section, which is all about your internal network, the devices within your home or office.
Right.
And I'm seeing a term here that I've always been curious about. Multiple LAN subnets.
Okay.
Can you explain what that means in a way that even I can understand?
Yeah, break it down for me.
All right, so think of subnets like creating separate rooms in your house.
Oh, okay.
You can keep things organized and secure by separating devices into different subnets.
Okay.
So, for example, you might have a subnet for your home office,
Right.
another one for your smart home devices,
Yeah.
and another one for your kids' gaming consoles.
So if like one of my kids accidentally downloads something dodgy on their gaming console, it wouldn't affect the devices in my home office subnet.
Exactly, that's right.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah, it's like an extra layer of protection.
Okay.
And it can also help with performance.
Okay.
Imagine if all your devices were crammed into one giant room.
Yeah.
It would be chaotic.
Right.
So subnets help keep things running smoothly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Good.
So I'm definitely seeing the benefits of subnets.
Yeah.
Now I also see this column labeled switch management.
Right.
Is this about like turning things on and off?
No, you don't have to be an electrician.
Okay, good.
No electrical engineering skills required here.
All right.
Switch management is about controlling and monitoring network switches.
Okay.
So if you have a larger network with multiple switches connecting various devices,
Right.
this feature lets you manage them all from one central location.
So instead of running around like a mad scientist flipping switches,
Right.
I can just like sit at my computer and control everything.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining and simplifying network management.
Cool.
Now let's talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
VPNs.
Oh, yeah.
We touched on VPN Matcher earlier,
Right.
but this chart has several columns dedicated to VPN functionality.
Okay.
We have Max VPN tunnels, Max SSL VPN Open VPN tunnels, and even IPsec.
It's a lot.
Can you walk us through this VPN maze?
Yeah, hit me with your VPN wisdom.
Okay, so the key here is understanding that different VPNs offer different levels of security and performance.
Okay.
So Max VPN Tunnels tells you how many devices can connect to the VPN simultaneously.
Right.
Max SSL VPN Open VPN Tunnels, that refers to connections using specific security protocols.
Okay.
And IPsec is another security protocol that adds an extra layer of protection.
So if I have a large family with multiple devices that need VPN protection, I'd want to pay attention to that Max VPN Tunnels number.
Exactly.
Right.
And the specific protocols, SSL, OpenVPN, IPsec, they offer different levels of encryption and security.
Got it.
So it's worth doing a bit of research
Okay.
to see which one is best suited to your needs.
All right. Good advice.
Now let's venture into the slightly intimidating world of routing.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm seeing terms like static route, policy route, even RIP, BGPO, SBF.
Are we talking about travel itineraries or network traffic here?
We're definitely talking about network traffic.
Okay, good.
Routing is all about directing data packets to their intended destination.
Right.
Think of it as the GPS system for your network.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what about these different types of routes?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a static route and a policy route?
I was wondering that.
So a static route is like a fixed roadmap.
Okay.
You manually configure the path for data to take.
Right.
A policy route is more like a dynamic navigation system.
Oh, okay.
You set rules, and the router decides the best path based on those rules.
Got it.
And then you have RIPBG, PIMO, SPF.
Those sound like something out of a spy movie.
Right, they do.
What are routing protocols and why should we care about them?
So think of routing protocols as the languages that routers use to communicate with each other and exchange routing information.
Right.
So RIP is a simpler protocol, often used in smaller networks. BGP is a more complex beast, used to route traffic between massive networks like those of internet service providers. And OSPF is somewhere in between.
So unless I'm running my own mini internet empire, I probably don't need to worry too much about BGP.
Exactly. Most home users can safely leave those advanced routing protocols to the experts.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
But it's still good to know they exist.
Right.
Now let's revisit a topic we touched upon earlier, mesh networking.
Okay.
We know that DrayTek routers can work with these Vigor app access points to create a seamless Wi-Fi experience.
Right.
But how does it actually work in practice?
Yeah.
Let's say I decide to invest in a mesh network for my home. What's the setup process like?
I've heard horror stories about setting up Wi-Fi extenders.
Yeah.
Is mesh networking just as painful?
I don't think so. No, setting up a DrayTek mesh network is surprisingly simple.
Okay.
You start with your main router. And then strategically place the Vigor app access points throughout your house.
Okay.
The access points automatically connect to each other.
Oh, wow.
And create that seamless Wi-Fi blanket we talked about.
So it's like basically plug and play.
Pretty much, yeah.
No need to mess around with complicated settings or configurations.
Not really. DrayTek has designed their mesh system to be very user-friendly.
Okay, that's good to know.
Of course, you can always delve into the advanced settings if you want to fine-tune things.
Right.
But for most people, the default setup will work just fine.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears and talk about a feature that's becoming increasingly important, especially in areas with unreliable internet service.
Right.
4G LTE and 5G backup. I see those columns on the chart and I'm curious how it all works.
Yeah.
Is this like having a secret weapon against internet outages?
It is. It's like an insurance policy for your internet.
Really?
So imagine this. You're in the middle of like an intense online gaming session and suddenly, boom, your internet connection drops.
The worst?
Frustrating, right?
The worst.
But with a DrayTek router equipped with cellular backup,
Yeah.
you don't even skip a beat.
No way.
The router automatically switches over to your mobile data.
Wow.
And you stay connected.
So just need to pop in a SIM card with a data plan.
Yes.
And the router takes care of the rest.
That's it.
No more frantically searching for my phone's hotspot settings.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Seamless, automatic.
Okay.
And some models even allow you to configure failover to a secondary Ethernet connection.
Okay.
If you have that option.
Right.
So it's all about providing redundancy and peace of mind.
Yeah, peace of mind, especially for people who rely heavily on a stable internet connection. Absolutely.
Okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool features,
Uh-huh.
let's talk about those USB 2.0, USB 3.0 ports we saw earlier.
Okay.
I'm still a bit puzzled by what you can actually do with USB ports on a router.
Right. So think of it as turning your router into a multitasking marvel.
Okay.
Those USB ports open up a whole world of possibilities.
Like what?
So you can connect external hard drives and create your own personal cloud storage
Oh, wow.
that's accessible to all your devices.
So it's like having my own little Dropbox or Google Drive.
Exactly.
But without having to pay monthly fees.
Yeah, no monthly fees. It's a great way to keep your files backed up and easily accessible. Plus, you can share printers across multiple devices. Sure. And even connect a 3G, 4G USB modem for additional internet connectivity options.
Really?
Yeah, it's like having a mini server built right into your router.
This DrayTek router deep dive is full of surprises.
Isn't it?
We've gone from the basics of WAN and LAN
to the complexities of VPNs and routing.
Right.
And now we're exploring the potential of USB ports.
It's a lot.
It's clear that these routers are more than just boxes that connect us to the internet.
They're evolving.
They're becoming these versatile hubs for all sorts of digital activities.
Exactly. And DrayTek is at the forefront of this evolution.
Yeah.
You know, they're really packing their routers with features that enhance our digital experience in ways we never thought possible.
Well, I'm thoroughly impressed with what I've learned about DrayTek routers so far.
Good, I'm glad.
But with so many models to choose from, I'm sure our listener is wondering how to narrow down the options and find the perfect match for their needs.
That's the big question. How do you choose?
Any advice on how to navigate this router jungle?
Absolutely. So the key is to start by identifying your priorities. What are your must-have features? What's your budget? And what kind of performance are you expecting? Once you have a clear understanding of your requirements, you can start narrowing down the options.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot between functionality, performance, and price.
Exactly.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It can be tricky, but thankfully DrayTek offers a wide range of models to fit different needs and budgets. And their website is an excellent resource for comparing models and delving into the specific details of each router.
That's great advice. DrayTek's website is definitely a treasure trove of information.
It is, yeah.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to shift our focus to the future.
Right, the future of routing.
What are some of the emerging trends and technologies that you think will shape the future of routers? We talked about flying routers and holographic Wi-Fi signals.
Flying routers, that would be something.
I know, right?
Well, we might not be quite there yet.
Okay.
The future of routers is definitely exciting. I think we'll see routers becoming even more intelligent, leveraging AI and machine learning to optimize network performance and even predict our needs.
So instead of just connecting us to the internet, routers will become these proactive assistants anticipating our digital desires, making our lives easier.
That's the idea.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And as the Internet of Things continues to expand, with more and more devices connecting to the internet, routers will play a crucial role in managing and securing this complex ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're going to be essential.
Speaking of security, do you think routers will become even more important?
I do.
In protecting us from cyber threats in the future?
Absolutely, yeah. Routers are the gateways to our digital lives. So they need to be equipped with robust security features to protect us from hackers and malware. We'll likely see even more sophisticated security measures built into routers. Like intrusion detection systems and AI-powered threat analysis.
So it sounds like the future of routers is this fascinating blend of convenience, intelligence, and security.
I think so, yes.
I'm curious to see how DrayTek will continue to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Me too. They're a company to watch, for sure.
Now, before we wrap up, let's revisit the DrayTek router comparison V1.1 PDF chart one last time.
All right.
We've covered a ton of ground today.
We have.
From the technical nuances of NAT sessions to the potential of mesh networking and cellular backup.
A lot of information.
What are some key takeaways for our listener?
Okay, so here are 3 essential things to remember when choosing a DrayTek router.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, network size and usage.
Okay.
Consider the number of devices you'll be connecting and what you'll be doing online.
Right.
This will help you determine the required performance and features.
Got it. What's number 2?
Number 2, must-have features.
Okay.
Identify the features that are absolutely essential for your needs.
Whether it's VPN support, mesh networking, or something else.
Good point. And number 3.
And finally, budget.
Okay.
Set a budget and stick to it.
It's important.
DrayTek offers a wide range of models to fit different price points.
Right. Good advice.
So those are your 3 key takeaways.
Those are great points to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And don't forget to check out DrayTek's website
Yes, good reminder.
for detailed specifications and comparisons of each model.
Absolutely.
They even have helpful guides and FAQs to answer any lingering questions.
They do. It's a really good resource.
Okay, so DrayTek's website and their customer support team are fantastic resources.
Definitely. They're like the Wi-Fi guardians, always ready to help.
I love that, the Wi-Fi guardians.
Always there to help.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about DrayTek routers.
I think so too.
We've explored their features,
Yeah.
delved into the technical details, and even pondered the future of routing technology.
It's been quite a journey. It has been a truly enlightening deep dive.
It has, and I hope our listener feels empowered to make an informed decision about their next router purchase.
I'm confident they do.
Good.
We've given them all the tools and knowledge they need
Right.
to navigate the world of DrayTek routers with confidence.
Absolutely.
But before we sign off,
Okay.
I want to leave our listener with one final thought-provoking question.
All right, let's hear it.
Now that we've explored the technical side of things, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the broader impact of routers.
You know, that's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
And it's one that I think about a lot, actually.
Okay.
Because routers have become so ubiquitous.
Right.
They're just everywhere, right?
They are.
They're so integrated into our lives that we just take them for granted.
We do.
But they're really the silent heroes of the digital age.
I like that, the silent heroes.
They're connecting us to information and entertainment
Right.
and each other in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago.
It's true. It really is. Okay, well, I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I think so, too.
We've journeyed from the technical specs of NAT sessions and VPNs to the broader implications of mesh networking and the future of routing.
It's been a lot.
Hopefully our listener is now feeling like a DrayTek router aficionado.
Absolutely, I hope so.
Armed with all the knowledge from this deep dive,
Right.
I'm confident they can choose the perfect router to meet their needs and unlock a world of digital possibilities.
I agree. And remember, the DrayTek router comparison v1.1.pdf chart is your friend.
It is.
Don't be afraid to go back to it
Yeah.
and compare those models side by side.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And if any questions pop up along the way,
Yeah.
DrayTek's website and customer support team are fantastic resources.
They are, like we said, the Wi-Fi guardians.
The Wi-Fi guardians, always ready to help.
Always there.
And to our listener, a huge thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of DrayTek routers.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate your curiosity and your willingness to explore these fascinating devices with us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and may your Wi-Fi signal always be strong.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you later.